wants to go outside. And there I am. Morning, folks. Lester here. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and we are the day after. We are waking up here at Longhorn Lester's this morning, the day after. I'm quite a wrinkled mess, friends. I am quite the wrinkled mess. Thank y'all for jumping on here this morning. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing groundbreaking. There's no big monumental moments. If you're in a quest for information and you're just one of those people who are just jumping to every channel trying to find the most recent, I'm only here on the porch here at Longhorn Lester's, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that you may or may not already know. And so by all means, if you're on the information highway and you want the latest video from what's going on, then you can go find it on one of the other channels. I promise you that. I'm just sitting here to have a little relaxation and a nice chit chat with my friends. So I'm only here to chit chat and to debrief, unwind, get myself going. Okay. Anyway, it's nice to see you all this morning. Thank y'all for joining me. And thank you for those who are going to stick around for a little bit. Oh, where do you start, my friends? Where do you start? So I will say that the difference in this hurricane compared to the other, I'm just going to guess and say 25 or so hurricanes that I've been through, is that I did this one inside of an RV. Dumb mistake. I will never do that again. Okay. I will never do that again. I promise you that. And then worse, I had Lex with me. Foolish, but we're fine. The RV handled it like a champ. I don't know if they sell tie downs for RVs, but I'll tell you what, if they do, and the thing about an RV is don't forget that you move the RV around, you move it from location to location. So I don't know what kind of system they would sell where you could anchor an RV down. You know, when you buy like a mobile home, because you don't move them all over the place, they do come and they will anchor that sucker down for you. Now, even though if you get a big enough of a storm, it can still cause quite a bit of damage, but at least the home is anchored down where it can't just flip and roll away. An RV's not like that. And there were a couple of moments yesterday when some of those heavier gust of winds would come through there, and I could feel quite the vibration of the RV, just like, and I'm thinking, no, Lord. But at that point, it was too late to jump in the truck and try to drive anywhere. I just did not realize how scary that was going to be. And then I'm trying to work. No one respects me trying to work over here. I'm trying to work, but the donkeys are letting me know that they're awake, they're alive and well. You know, cute story about all of the limbs that fell yesterday here at Longhorn Lester's is that this place was littered with limbs and branches and mostly smaller stuff. We lost a few big limbs out in the pastures, but here in the yard, lots of small stuff. And the funny thing is, when I walked out yesterday and made some video of the pastures, the goat pasture was just littered with stuff. Well, would you believe that this morning, waking up, the goat pasture looks completely cleaned? Yeah, the goats have come over there through the course of yesterday afternoon once it cleared up, and this morning, and have eaten every leaf off of every branch that has fallen. And so the goat pasture it's fine. There may be a couple of sticks that are left behind that I'll clean up, rake up, or something. But as far as all the leaves go, they've helped me out a whole lot with my cleanup. I will start cleaning up here as soon as I'm done with the live, and then I'll go over to the J&L and do some cleanup over there. And then at some point we will drive up back to Plum Grove and what we can do over there. Jamie is not going to be with me today. She's going to be traveling. Everyone knows that Jamie has plans to be out of town for the next several days, so she will be traveling. So it's going to be me and Lex and the dogs, and we're going to hold down the fort and do everything that we have to do to get past this little episode. I will tell you how bothered I was last night. We had gone to Plum Grove to the sanctuary to do a few things over there, and we had obviously everyone's out of power. No one has power. There's no power at any of the properties. Tina and Rob have no power. No one has power. In fact, we're not alone. I think I heard last night before I went to bed that there were 3 million people without power. And so obviously there's a system that they have in place where they have to start at certain locations, and they kind of start in the center and they work out. So places like Plum Grove or even here in Livingston, it could be a while, which is not uncommon because we've sometimes gone a week or 2 weeks without power after some of the larger hurricanes. So I don't know for sure how long we're going to be without power. So at this point, now that the hurricane has passed, everyone's kind of scrambling for what they're going to do over the next couple of days or weeks to get, because the heat's going to come back. It's cool-ish now, but even when I say cool-ish, it's still 85 degrees, and it will keep getting warmer and warmer. And that's going to be quite unbearable for people who have no AC or no way to at least stay, keep themselves cool. So I do think that Daniel and his family have gone to their cabin. They have a little cabin along the lake, about an hour or so away from the house. So that's where I think Brienne is at with Laramie and the kids, Daniel and Lou. We offered Jake and Lissa the RV here at Longhorn Lester's, where we do have generator power and it has an AC. We know that Lissa is pregnant, and so she needs a place to cool off. Mom and Dad have a generator, and so they'll be fine. Ellie has a generator. He'll be fine. I went over yesterday, and Ellie and I moved a window unit out of the barn house, and we put that window unit into the bedroom. So at least Megan and Ellie have a central location they can go to. In case you're wondering why the generator does not run the entire house, it doesn't work that way. A generator only puts out so much power, and a whole house generator is very costly and expensive. Mr. Dub and Ms. Sharon, the former owners of Longhorn Lester's, had one of those installed here, a Generac whole house, entire home generator. So we still have access to the well, water, and power, electricity in all of the areas, the ACs and everything. So we're fine here as long as we can keep some propane in the generator. And so we did call this morning to the propane folks. I'm going to have them come out tomorrow and go ahead and fill our tank. But we'll be fine, and we've offered refuge to Jake and Lissa. Like I said, Ellie and Megan have a place. They're at the sanctuary. They have a room. They have a cool room, and they're able to use their internet, have one room that can stay nice and cool. Their fridge can remain running, so they're not going to lose all their food. I think that when Steph and Buddy get back, they have their RV. And so their RV they have a generator for their RV. They can live in the RV. They have been for a month. And I think that they'll be fine. And so I think everyone's taken care of. Sister Kim has a generator, and she will obviously share with Tony, her son who lives there, along with Levi, her son that lives with her. So the entire hill has been taken care of. Everyone's fine as far as the people part goes. And we always talk about people first. You don't want to ever start looking more at the things that can be replaced before you think about the things that can't. And so people are going to be fine. I did tell Lex he's just going to stay here with me until we get power back. I don't want him over at mom and dad's adding to their, plate as far as things to do. But what scared me so bad yesterday was the fact that I don't guess people took precautions. And I'm not saying Morrow Hill people. I'm saying the people in the neighborhood around Plum Grove. Because Jamie and I went, when we were leaving Plum Grove, we had run by to get diesel in my truck. Yeah, I'm one of those who did not have my truck full already. But we ran by to get diesel at the local grocery store, the gas station. And there's only one gas station in the entire neighborhood that had a generator, and they were able to still pump fuel. And they were taking cash only. So there was no debit cards, none of that kind of stuff was working. So luckily we had some cash. And so we swung in there, and my goodness, the line was long. And it was people who were panicking. They were you could see the panic on people's faces. And this was within the first few hours of the hurricane passing. So it was still within 12 hours of them losing their power. And I told Jamie, I says, we're seeing the very worst of humanity right here. We're seeing people fighting and arguing. There were people in the line who were trying to get fuel, diesel, or whatever they could, and they were mad at people in front of them for trying to fill their tank or trying to fill up an extra storage container, a gas can, a diesel can. And it was people who were just going crazy, but it was fear. It was so much fear. And I told Jamie, I says, could you imagine something catastrophic happening to our government, for example, and the loss of power, the loss of internet, the loss of cell phone signals, how fast society can break down. And it broke my heart, and it scared me for people to see how bad and how fast things went from pre-hurricane, everyone just out doing their thing, to post-hurricane, which was a fast-moving hurricane. It was fast-moving and minimal flooding. And if you're going to deal with a hurricane, that's what you want to deal with. Fast-moving. Hey, sweetie. Stella has come by to say hi to. She says hi to hello to all of the friends. Hi to hello to everybody. Hi to hello, says Stella. So it was just shocking at how fast things can break down. And, you get these news reports of with the hurricane, you normally start hearing about things a week or so ahead of time. Now, of course, in that week or so ahead of time, you never know exactly where it's going to hit, but they tell you if there's a hurricane in the Gulf, be prepared. As a matter of fact, in Texas, all of our road signs, they have these electronic road signs that the city can take over when they need to help you plan evacuation routes, help you plan for emergencies, whatever. And every one of these road signs have been lit up all week long with hurricane in the Gulf. Be prepared. Well, being prepared means having water, having gasoline, having your tank topped off, having the gas cans set aside, doing things to protect the people that you love and care about, and not having to deal with that kind of chaos that we dealt with yesterday. And so, and listen, as we were driving from Plum Grove back to Livingston to Longhorn Lester's, along the highway, there were other occasional places here and there that had generators that did still have fuel. And even in those places, as we were driving by, the line of these people trying to get into a gas pump, where it was I'm not making this up, a mile long. You always hear the expression, it was a mile long. That line was a mile long. No, literally, the lines were a mile long. And it was people who had not prepared, who were panicked, who were not ready. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at here. The Denman homestead. Good morning from Oklahoma City. 6 more hours to go. Please be safe, Bud and Stephanie. I know that accidents happen closer to home because people start getting relaxed and kind of laid back and a little bit less cautious. You guys have been on the road for a very, very long time. You're driving a large vehicle, and please don't get so excited to be almost home that you end up not being as cautious as you normally are. But there is some good news waiting for you guys when you get home, Bud and Steph. I'm sure you already know, and we will talk more about it. Bud and Steph, are y'all able to join? Do y'all want to join the live? If you can, I'll be more than happy to send you a link. I don't know if you can while you're on the road with the internet and whatnot, but let me attempt to. I'm going to do a few things here, and I'm going to offer a link. Now, you may not be able to, but I will send you a picture of this link. Give me 1 second over here. And if one of y'all would want to join while the other drives, there. I sent that. You know what? I'll send it to Stephanie also. I sent it to Buddy because Buddy actually replies to my messages. I'm playing, Steph. I'm kidding. There. Now, there's no guarantee, guys. They're on the road. They're on the road, and they may not be able to get a signal enough to go live. And my phone's having a hard time getting a signal to send to them. Don't forget that Buddy and Steph, they use the green phones. They still have green phones. I'm playing. Everyone with the green phone, meaning an Android phone, don't freak out. I'm just kidding with you. I will say it's a lot harder to send a message from a blue phone to a green phone because blue phone to blue phone, immediate. Blue phone to green phone, very, very, very iffy. I'm trying to see along the side if Buddy or Stephanie are still replying to anybody, but I can't keep up with all the comments. Sorry. But that would be wonderful. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. But I'm so sorry. That happens sometimes. You go live and you embarrassing start getting that little tickle in your throat, and then you have to say, excuse me, and you have to keep coughing it up. But that's what I'm having to deal with right now. All right. So Bud and Steph have still not replied that I can see, and I don't know. And neither one have received my message yet with my invite. So darn it, who's to say what's going on? But you feel bad for Bud and Steph. They're off on vacation with their family. And they've been gone for a while and had no idea back when they left that there was going to be a hurricane come out of nowhere and end up giving us a really big scare there in Plum Grove area, especially with all the flooding and the winds and everything else. And then to complicate things, they get a picture yesterday from, I guess, Sister Kim, letting them know that, y'all have a tree on the house. It was quite scary. I want to jump in and see what Wayne says. Dwayne says, I'm trying not to get down. It's hard, Dwayne. So many people are dealing with this power outage, and we will get through it. We will get through it, Dwayne. I'll tell you what, though. Why couldn't they have hurricanes and power outages in the spring or the fall? That's what I'm saying. Why does it always have to be the dead of summer when we're dealing with 100+ degree heat and humidity? That is the hardest thing, is people are not used to going without. Dwayne, I wish you guys the best, and we're keeping you guys in our thoughts. But I'm hoping you find a place you can stay cool. Well, sorry, it says to Buddy it was not able to be delivered, and to Stephanie, wow, so it actually did go through to Stephanie, but Buddy's was undeliverable.
Hey, are you doing it through Messenger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I did it through text.
Do it through Messenger.
Oh, I just don't use Messenger anymore. Well, Stephanie received it. Stephanie received it through text. So, anywho, so yeah, let me just recap what I said so far, and then we'll see if Bud and Steph want to jump in. But as far as Plum Grove goes, Jake and Lissa have been offered a place to stay here at the RV. We moved Lex inside the apartment with us, and he's fine. And that makes the RV available, and it does have air conditioning. That's the RV here at Longhorn Lester's. Mom and Dad have a generator. Sister Kim has a generator. She will let Buddy come over. Not Buddy, but Tony and Levi, of course, will be with her. They can stay nice and cool. The Brienne with Laramie, Daniel, and Lou all went to Dan's cabin where they have power up at the lake. So everyone, as far as the people, have been taken care of. All the people are fine. Ellie and Megan have a generator. So dealing with animals, we don't think there's any issue with the animals. All the animals are accounted for. No one blew away.
That's crazy. So like,
Babe, I'm on a live. Jamie's trying to remind me that our RV does fit 12 people. So you think that Jake and Alyssa want company?
I just think that if anybody really wanted to torture themselves, we could pack 12 Moros.
Jamie says if any other Moros want to torture themselves, the RV that we got from Jason and Brooke over at Cog Hill does sleep. 12?
Yeah.
12 people. 12. You heard me correct. Tell me how in the world 12 people are going to share an RV. God. But it's nice and cool. I would think this is the way I've always done it. When we've lost power in the past, and like I said, every hurricane we lose power. But the hardest part of the hurricane is not the by day, it's the by night. Trying to sleep in the heat with the mosquitoes, with the flies. It's always hard at night. Oh my goodness gracious. Talk about blessing. Y'all be pouring out of it like a clown car, says Ryan, the roaster. My friend Ryan. Ryan, I will not be pouring out of it. I will be sleeping in my nice king-size bedroom, my king-size bed inside the apartment. That's one thing about Dub and Sharon. Whenever they master planned the apartment end of the shop, I don't know whose idea it was, Dub or Miss Sharon, but one of them says, you know what? We don't mind living small, and we will live small. We'll have a small kitchen. We'll have a small living room. We don't even need a dining room, but we are going to have us a big bedroom. And they master planned a really nice sized bedroom with a big a king size bed and large closet. So they did a lot of planning as far as what space they wanted. So we're blessed for that. So I will not be, Ryan, I will not be pouring out of that RV like a clown car, but I would love to have it. That would be a really fun video to watch, the entire Morrow Hill coming out of the RV. And can you imagine my mom and dad with their knees? Hey, I can't talk because I'm just as bad. Oh, Lordy. I'll tell you something funny, and then we'll get back to the serious stuff. I had taken Lex over to the JL one afternoon while Jamie was doing her horses. And I says, come on, son, we're going to have football camp. So I've always enjoyed putting Ellie, my son, my older son, through his football training camps before the season starts. You want to try to help those kids condition to the heat and to everything else. And so I go over with Lex, and here I am at my age with all of the things that have gone wrong with my body over the last couple of years. And I have a football, and I'm the quarterback, and I have to move around and throw him passes. They call it the passing tree. So all these different routes he's trying to run to get himself into shape, and I'm trying to take my shoulder and throw him passes. And so once we'd worked out for about an hour and then we were done, I says, Jamie, it's crazy. I says, as crazy as it sounds, I played an entire hour with that kid and I'm not even sore. I didn't even feel sore. I come home, I took a good bath in the deep tub, and I soaked for a while, slept great. And then the next day, I begin to feel a little bit kind of like flu-like symptoms. When I say flu-like, I don't mean the inside flu-like. I mean the way your entire body feels a little bit stiff. And by yesterday, oh my God, yesterday I couldn't walk. I could not hardly move an arm. It was horrible. Guys, it was horrible. I felt so horrible. And I'm thinking, okay, so God showed me when I'm not as young and spry as I thought I was. Here I am at my age trying to go out there and run around for an hour, throwing footballs and trying to do some blocking drills and helping him, get into better shape and teaching a little football drills. And oh my God, I felt miserable. And I'm doing all of that in the midst of the hurricane. Yes. Yes. And then, like Sheila says, and then you go off to work with a chainsaw on a roof after that. We did try to go over to Stephanie and Buddy's and help get that tree off their roof. I took both my chainsaws. I have a 16-inch chainsaw and a 20-inch chainsaw, and I took them both. And my plan was to get over there and get some work done. 2 chainsaws. And I'll tell you what, I never realized how steep their roof was. I'm already afraid of heights. You guys know that. I'm not good on heights. And their roof is it's pitched so steep. It's like this over here. And it was just terrifying. Terrifying. Oh boy, look who's joining me right now. And I hope he's not the one driving. Bud, welcome. Welcome in. Can you hear me?
Hello?
I hear you, Bud. I hear you.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, cool.
Are you actually driving right now?
Yeah.
Is the family asleep?
What was that?
Is the family asleep?
The kids are, but Steph's sitting here next to me.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that you guys are being safe. And have you got word yet that your tree has been removed?
The tree's been removed?
Your tree has been removed. You can come home. You'll come home to a leaky roof. Don't worry. It's still there. Your leaky roof is still there, but your tree has been removed.
I cannot hear you at all, Lester. Hold on a second.
Hold on. I will sign language.
Hold on 1 second.
No, I'm going to sign language. I can sign language this. This is the tree.
We're gonna drop off, but he's gonna log on his phone. Be right back.
I can sign language. I can sign language the whole thing. This is the tree. This is that tree falling. Here's that tree on your roof. And here's that tree coming off of your roof. Here's your roof with the hole there. So your roof is still there with a couple of holes right there. There we go. They left. I don't mean to laugh at a horrible situation. Nobody wants to come home with a tree on their roof. So like I said, they can come home with holes in their roof that a tarp will easily cover to keep their house nice and dry. And they're not going to have to deal with any more damage from the rains that will continue to pound us for the next couple of days. But we were able to get a hold of Juan Ventura. Y'all, I've talked him up so many times. Juan Ventura is a fellow that we met a couple of years back, and we hired him to do some tree work for us. Now, what Mr. Ventura does is very different than what Mr. Leo does. Mr. Leo is the kind of guy who will come by with his tractors and his equipment, and they won't cut trees down. They push them over. And then they will, oh boy, I think that Bud and Stephanie are back.
Hello?
Oh my God, now they're sideways.
am I? Am I sideways?
Don't worry, I turned my computer sideways to match you. My laptop is now turned sideways.
Nice.
I will show you what I'm looking at. There. How's that? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I feel like we're making a Sprint commercial. Or was it Sprint? Who does the commercial? Can you hear me now? Verizon commercial.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I'm going to try to give you a message, but using sign language only, okay?
Okay.
So, this and this. Do you know what this over here is?
That's a tree.
Okay, good. And then here is tree yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay, you know what this over here is?
yeah, that's the top of my house.
Okay, that's the tree on top of your house. Now, the good news is when you guys get home, you will find this.
Nice.
What is that right there? But what is that?
That's my house without a tree.
Okay, so the tree has been removed. That's the good news. Y'all can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
What I cannot do is take care of the holes in your roof, but we did find a guy to come by and take the tree down. So you guys will find no tree in your roof, but there will be a few holes you'll have to patch up.
And I cannot thank you guys enough for doing that. When we saw Jake's live this morning of them cutting it off, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, or a weight lifted off of my house.
Well, my question is, did you have no weight lifted when you saw your poor Uncle Lester climb up there to try to cut it off? Was there no weight lifted for him?
I was so surprised that you got up on top of the house to do that. But that was amazing.
So not only did I climb on top of your house, but the hardest thing that I did yesterday was had to reach up with my horrible shoulders and take your ladder from the garage and lift it off the hooks.
Oh, yeah.
And try to do all of that in a very tight space. And then I kind of lowered it behind my neck. So I'm walking around your garage like this. Tell Stephanie I'm sorry about her car getting scratched a few times. And your tractor, it's a tractor, okay? It's just a tractor. And then taking your ladder through your beautiful kitchen. Oh, my God. And then there was no help. Kim and Tony just watched. Jamie videoed. But sorry about all of that. And it's all repairable. Everything is repairable.
Thank you guys so much. It feels so good knowing that tree is off at least.
Yeah, well, we're blessed that we met a guy a couple of years back. It's a really, really wonderful guy, a tree company, and they've done some work for us. And so I just sent him a message yesterday and says, "Hey, Juan," I said, "I know you guys are busy right now. I know you got a lot of jobs, but you got to put us to the front of the list. You got to move us to the front of the list, Juan. It's important." And so they did come out this morning first thing, and so that should be all done for y'all. So
yeah, that feels good.
You'll have a burn pile in your front yard, though. I don't know if you can burn in your front yard or not, or if you would ever do that, but you can't get a tractor over there because it's too wet still. And so you'll have a pile of limbs to burn at some point or move around somehow.
Yeah, we'll get all that figured out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly who, but we'll get a tarp. Well, you guys will be home today. You'll be home today.
Yeah, I'll be home today.
Oh, good. So you can climb up there and put a tarp over it.
Yeah, I'll be getting up in the attic and inspecting everything and putting a tarp up and all that stuff.
Okay, good. All right, bud. Well, so tell me real fast, and I know that you guys are driving, so this must be hard on you and everything, and I know the kids are sleeping, so I don't want to keep you too long, but tell me the highlight of your vacation, because I kind of already know the low point. I know the low point of the vacation. What's been the highlight? If there could be one moment that you captured in time that you want to just live and hold on to forever.
Okay.
And then I want to hear Stephanie's response too.
Yeah, so just FYI, Steph is really sick.
Oh, no.
So we both, after finding out what happened yesterday, both of our stomachs were kind of messed up just from anxiety and like nerves, you know?
Yep.
But I was able to kind of get a few hours of sleep last night. Steph was not. She was up all night, nauseous. And we just pulled over at a rest stop. That was where we slept. We stopped at 1 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in the middle of Kansas. And Steph could not sleep. And when I got up this morning, she was still sick, hadn't hardly slept. So her stomach is really messed up.
Yeah.
But I will say, my highlight of this trip is I brought one of my little. We went to Glacier National Park. That was kind of like the big thing of the trip in Montana, and I brought my little battery bank and my coffee thermos that will like heat water up with my battery bank, and we stopped on the side of the mountain, which felt like on the top of the world up there, with a waterfall coming down next to us, and I just stopped and pulled out my thermos on the side of the mountain at the top of the world and made a cup of coffee and just sat there and drank it. And man, it was such a amazing feeling.
God, I can't imagine that. And what, that was in Montana?
That was Montana, yeah.
God, that sounds beautiful. Just even hearing you describe it, Bud, just sounds beautiful. And so we're not gonna make Stephanie share her highlight moment, but was Stephanie there with you during that moment?
Yeah, she was. She was next to me. She was like taking it all in while I was making the coffee, and then we sat there and had the coffee together. And the kids, there's like a lot of snow up there, even when as hot as it was. So the kids were playing in the snow while we were having coffee, just looking out onto everything.
Wow. I bet it probably looked like a photograph, like you're sitting there looking into a photograph that you would see and just like, this is real. This is real. Yeah. It just shows you how beautiful this country is. Hey, here's a quick trivia question for you, Bud. And it's kind of based on your vacation, but do you know which two states have the most national parks of all 50 states? Which two have the most national parks? And they have the most by a landslide. It's not even close. It's number one, number two, and then there's all the rest way at the bottom of the list. This is going to probably shock you.
Is Utah one of them?
It is not.
Oh. Most national parks.
Well, you know what, buddy? I don't know if it's state or national or both, but I don't remember the wording. But state park, national parks, I guess those are different.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't remember the exact wording. Anyway, it's California is number one. California, and then followed by Texas. I'm thinking, Texas? And I don't really know exactly in Texas where all the state or national parks are at, but I had no idea, because you would have thought that they would be in those kind of states like Utah, Montana, Colorado, those beautiful places, Wyoming's, not Texas. And then California, I imagine, of course, the Northern California, but I would have never thought that Southern Cal would have a lot of state or national parks. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it in the terms of like land mass of just how big the states are, it makes sense.
That's what I told Jamie. It has to be based on the land mass, how much space there is to have parks. Whereas you may have some really beautiful parks in Colorado and everywhere else, you probably don't have as many because they're a lot larger in size, maybe. Right. So I don't know. Anyway, listen, everyone loves you. And I think that the neatest thing that I read on your comments yesterday, and you guys know that I'm a reader, same as you are, buddy. I read everything. I can't help it. I just read. And so I will watch a video, but I really like to watch videos that will continue to play while I'm reading comments. So I don't actually have to see the video. I can hear it and read comments. And I read one yesterday on one of y'all's videos, and someone said, not to worry about the house as much, because you have your greatest treasure there with you, meaning your kids, your kids and Stephanie, obviously. And I thought that is so darn true. And here I was during this particular hurricane. And, I'm sitting there in the RV, which was terrifying. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Ever. Dumbest thing ever was to ride out a hurricane in that little RV. But I had Lex with me. And I would not have been near as scared if Lex had not been there. But because Lex was there, I'm thinking, what in the world have I gotten this kid into? This is not his fault. He wanted to be with his dad. He wanted to hang out with me. And so I took them with me, and I'm thinking that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I was just, it's so scary being away. Jamie and I were in Illinois last year, or was that 2 years ago, when we had a horrible flood here, just a horrible thunderstorm and flood. And Ben was watching the property here at Longhorn Lester's, and he kept telling us, this is bad. It's getting bad. It's really bad. This is horrible. This is bad. And I know you're feeling, because even though there was not a tree coming to the roof, just having Ben report to us with very sketchy information, because he couldn't define exactly what was so bad, but just kept telling us it's really bad. This is very scary and all these kind of things. So it was hard to be away. So,
everyone, like no one's cell phone worked. So we could literally only talk to Brianne and Ellie. Those are the two people we could talk to. And thankfully, Brianne and Ellie were awesome at getting us like updates. But I'm trying to get a hold of my mom, trying to get a hold of G, Pops, everyone, see what's going on. And apparently, you know, everyone with AT&T cell phone service just stopped working. So the way we found out was our Ring doorbell, when we still had internet. Our Ring doorbell went off, and we were in Deadwood, South Dakota. That's where we're at. So 21 hours away from home, and our Ring doorbell goes off, and it's Daniel and my mom standing on the front of the door, and we can't really tell what they're doing. They're just standing there looking, and Steph was like, hello? What's going on? And then we just heard, there's a tree on top of your house, and it's just like, your stomach is just like, and then at that point, she was like, we're gonna send you some pictures, and we'll see how bad it is, and then we don't get any pictures. We can't call anyone. No one's answered their phone. It's like, what is happening? But that was the worst. The worst was just not knowing if our whole house was caved in, like how bad it was. And yeah, Bree was able to send us that picture of the spear, of the branch, like spearing through the entire house. And at that point, as soon as we got that, because at that point we were in Nebraska, we were wondering, like, is the tree just sitting on the house to where we could try and call someone to just cut it off, or is it actually damaged? And we were just doing some stuff in Nebraska, and that we got that picture with the branch speared all the way through the ceiling. And Brianne said, "Yeah, all your carpets are soaked in the craft room." We're like, "Yeah, nope, that's it." So we had already driven like 5 or 6 hours that day, but we just set a course for home and took off, and now we're 5 hours away.
Okay. Well, Bud, I want to remind you to stop before you get too close and get fuel and buy food, because it's pandemonium. Is that the right word? It's chaotic.
Yeah.
No one really, obviously, how people are. They don't prepare. And now with having no power, everyone's in a scramble for fuel. This morning they called, asking, does Lufkin have fuel? And I don't know, because there's no fuel here in Livingston. Nothing has fuel anywhere. So I don't know how far they're going to have to drive to keep the gas cans filled, to keep their generators going and everything else. So what
I plan to do is, once I get into North Texas, and it won't be like super far away from home, maybe 3 hours ish. I've got a little mini like trailer kind of on the back of the RV, and it's got our ice chest and our dog food on it. I'm going to bring those inside the RV. I'm just going to stop at like Walmart or something and buy some pretty good, like 3 or 4 pretty good sized gas cans, and strap them down on the back of that little trailer. And I'm going to fill all those up. That way, whoever needs gas at home, I'll have plenty for everyone.
Yeah. Well, so your RV has a generator on it, right? So you can still
we've got the generator. We'll stay in the RV while we're ripping up carpet and patching holes and stuff.
Is your generator there propane or gas powered?
It's gas. It actually runs off of the gas in the RV's gas tank. So when you fill up the RV in the gas tank, that's what runs the generator.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, Bud. Well, that's wonderful. That's good news. Yeah, and don't just strap those gas cans down. You might want to lock them down, because people are bananas. They're going crazy over here. It's the scariest thing ever. And just be careful with the power lines too. Y'all stay alert. I know it's hard when you get close to home, You start losing your focus, I think, because you're so excited. You start driving faster, maybe. But just please be careful these last few hours.
Yeah, Jamie said there's the main road through Plum Grove's got a power line like really low. You'll have to drive under to get to it. So we'll take the other way through 99.
Okay, bud. All right. Well, we love y'all, and we hope Steph feels better, and it's going to be fine, guys. And we'll see y'all when y'all get home.
All right. Love you guys too.
Thank you, bud, for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Buddy and Stephanie are traveling home. That was so hard on Jamie and I when we were in Illinois. I think that was 2 years ago, and that happened. So scary. That was last year. Was that last year? My goodness, time just flies. But and then when you're not home to see with your own eyes, and then like Buddy was saying, it's very sketchy because you can't get a hold of anybody. No one will tell you exactly what's happening. And so it is very scary. But I'm glad that Ellie was able to help out and be his eyes, and Brianne helped out a little bit. So, yeah. So as far as the sanctuary goes, there wasn't a whole lot of damage besides just basic things blown all over the yard. The barn dominium took the most damage, which is obvious, guys. It's a building that I built myself. And I don't do good construction work, okay? But we did lose several sheets of tin from the barn dominium. And so now I'm in a double conundrum of, I already told you guys I was probably not going to rebuild the barn dominium all the way because no one's there. It's just an empty shell of a house after that May flood. And so as of right now, all I've done was put down insulation inside of it, just to kind of keep it more air, keep it dry. I've got the ACs and stuff going in there. I leave the ACs on 80, which is not cool, but it's not hot. So it keeps the dehumidifier and stuff, keeps everything dry. Now I got to say, do I want to also now go on top of that thing and start trying to repair and patch up metal? And then the drywall that got wet on the ceiling? Oh, Lord. Jamie already says just go ahead and have it torn down. Let someone have the materials and they can tear it down for us. And there'll be plenty of people who would tear it down for you if you give them the materials. And so we may just go ahead and do that, y'all. I know it's not the best time to make that decision right now, but I really don't know what else to do. It's in a floodplain. We pay taxes on it that we don't need to pay. It's not in a floodplain, but it's in an area that does flood. And so I really do think that we should go ahead and have it removed. I talked to Ellie and he says he doesn't care either way. It doesn't bother them at all, but I still pay taxes on it. And I could probably save myself a chunk of money from taxes if in fact it's just nothing more than just a half shell of a house that now has even more leaks. So we'll deal with that when that time comes. Not today. I'm not going to go and start tearing anything down today. But so let me just recap right quick. I've been on here for quite a while with you already, and I wasn't planning on being here long. I do have a lot to do. My number one job this morning is going to be looking around trying to find fuel because, like I said, I went over yesterday and got Ellie set up with the generator. He's been keeping that thing running throughout the night so he and Megan can sleep in comfort. They have one room of air conditioning. And for anyone who's asking, I see the question still popping up about how come the generator doesn't run their entire house. A generator like we have here is a full home generator. It's built with plenty of, I'm just going to say power. I don't know the right term. It's built with plenty of power to run the entire house. That would be the AC, the furnace, the well, hot water heaters, washer, dryer, all of those kind of things. But what LE, my mom and dad, sister Kim have are just a simple pull start generator, quite a bit smaller, that will run some things, just they don't have enough power to run a full home. Donkeys are listening. I don't know if it's watts or amps. People are trying to share what they know about it. I don't know. But so I tell you what, having the Generac system set up here has really saved us a lot because it's hard when you have animals to water. And that is what I think I told Ali is my biggest worry with them over there is that they have so many animals that need fresh water that even though you have 2 ponds, he has the front pond and he has the back pond. We've always been sticklers for offering fresh water. And so we went out to the big tank. You all know that we did purchase a really big 500-gallon water well. And so Ellie and I walked out to see how much water was still in there, and it was to the top. And I said, so son, pretty much until you get power back on, this is how much water you have to play with. So I would be very careful on how much water you use per day. So I says, you can't really shower anyway because there's no hot water. You don't want to have cold shower. So what Jamie and I would do before we had, when we've had situations, we would use wet naps. And so even though you can't have a good full shower, you could take a wet nap before bed and just kind of wipe yourself off with a few wet naps. And that would kind of cool you off and clean you off. So you could at least try to go to bed comfortable, not dirty and sweaty and sticky and everything else. I said, so use your wet naps and then use your fuel sparingly. Keep your generator going, but do not run. Don't try to run the entire house. You're not going to be able to. So he and Megan had to pretty much move an entire house into 1 bedroom where they do have an AC window unit. Yeah, dude wipes, Jill. I also taught him how to flush the commode using the pour bucket system. And you all know that in the barn dominium, we've always kept 25 times 5. 25 times 5. That's how many gallons of water we have out there. We have these large 5-gallon sealed buckets of fresh water that have chlorine tabs in them. They were always our emergency supply water. And so we have quite a few gallons of water that he and Megan can use for emergency situations, for flushing the commode if they need to, or for pouring water for their dogs or their cats, you know. But I don't think you can use that water to go out there and rechange and refill the water for the goats. Goats will have to go ahead and tough it and drink from the ponds, and which is fine. I don't like it. But desperate times and desperate measures, you guys know how that goes. But thank God we have ponds that are nice and full. So we'll be good. So, all right. Well, I think that I've covered everything going on back at Morrow Hill. I've talked about where everyone's at right now. I know that there's a lot of shuffling going around with mostly people looking for fuel. I will go today. I will take Lex because Jamie's traveling, but me and Lex will go. We're going to drive north up towards Lufkin, which is about 20 miles from where we live. And we will get fuel in Lufkin. And I'll also fill up every gas can I can find, gas and diesel can. I'll fill them all up. And then we'll take a lot of that fuel back to Plum Grove. I don't think we'll need fuel over here. As long as our vehicles are fine, we'll be good. But right now, our concern is not so much the animals. The animals are all fine. They're going to be good. It's mostly just the people part of all of this. And you don't want my mom getting too hot. You don't want Lissa getting too hot because she's pregnant. My dad won't leave for anything. So there's nothing you can do about dad. Dad's going to stay put no matter what. He will never leave. So yes, Karen says, are you guys going to eat at Golden Corral? Absolutely. If it's open, we will be stopping at Golden Corral to eat. And then I know that Daniel and Lou will come back to do work. Laramie will come back and do a few things. I don't know if they're going to come back today or not, but they have a very long drive. I think that Daniel's drive to their cabin is like over 2 hours long. So as far as J&L goes, Sherry, I was there last night, very late. We left there last night at around 9:00, and there were no babies. So we're not having babies this round, I don't think. All righty. Well, listen, I think I've covered everything. Yes, someone says Papa is awesome, but he's as stubborn as they come. And that's his generation, I think. Hey, thank you, Larry. Larry, nice to see you. Thank you. But I think is my dad's generation is being kind of that hardcore, I'm not leaving. And what's sad about that is sometimes people like my dad, I'm not saying my dad, but people like my dad, end up putting a whole lot of people at risk, first responders, even family members, because sometimes their hard-headedness or their stubbornness makes them refuse to do what common sense dictates. And common sense in an evacuation scenario, sometimes you're not the captain of the Titanic. You do not have to go down with an empty ship necessarily. And so the entire family will leave, but my dad's like, nope, I'm staying here. I'm like, why? There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Not leaving. And so my dad's that kind of guy. Trina says, leave Papa alone. He knows what he's doing. Okay. But like I was saying, Trina, I'm not getting onto my dad. I'm getting on to anybody who refuses to leave, even when common sense dictates it's time to leave. You put, not only is that person at risk, but they put others at risk, trying to save them, trying to go through high. Think about this over here. Here's a great example. It's the same thing as someone who drives through high water, even when they tell you over and over and over, shelter in place, stay home, don't go to work, don't go joyriding. And people get out in their car anyway because they think, oh, I can make it. I know what I'm doing. I'm fine. And what happens? They find themselves getting stuck in that high water, and who has to go rescue them? First responders, other citizens, and people are putting a lot of resources and people at risk when that happens. And so no matter how much you say Papa loves his property, you're not going to do a darn thing by being trapped upstairs in a flood or being, I'm not going to argue with you all. To each his own. To each his own. But all you can do is ask them and talk to them and worry about them. So, and we worry. But Lake Livingston Dam, listen, I've never seen a more sketchy situation as what we're discovering with this Lake Livingston Dam. They will not tell you what's going on. Now they have put out a restricted no-fly zone, so no drones are allowed to fly overhead. What does that tell you? They even got the FAA to enforce that rule, so they're going to stick a fine on you if they discover that you have in fact been flying your drone around where they're working. They don't want you to know what's happening. They're not releasing any information, and there's tons of people who will tell you that. Why will they not tell us? Don't they owe it to us? Those who live downriver, don't they owe it to us to tell us exactly what's happening? And they will not do it. They will not do it. Maybe they're trying not to create panic and fear, or maybe they're scared of lawsuits, potential lawsuits. I don't know, but they will not let you know what's happening. All that we know is that if this is the dam, and here comes the water, the spillway that comes over or through the floodgates. Here's the dam, here's the floodgates. Enough water has come through and it's hit there at the bottom, the base of that dam. It's washed out all of the large rock, the riprap, the granite, and now the water has pushed underneath the dam. Water has pushed up underneath it, which means all of the weight of that concrete, that dam, is not supported underneath because, in fact, the water has gone underneath it. So now you have water coming under the dam, you have water coming over and through the dam, and to me, that's terrifying. I don't think that Longhorn Lester's, this property itself, is in any threat because we are so high off the river, 300 feet from the hill down to the water. You already know that. But with all of that, if for some reason that dam should break and all of that water from that lake just comes coming down that river, I don't know if I've ever seen anything more catastrophic than what that might be. And that is terrifying. But what that would do to us here at Longhorn Lester's is nothing besides cut off our access to get to the other properties. We also have our boat here, so I think that we'd be fine if that was to happen. It would be horrible, but it would cut off all of our access. Winch Dam, that would be the dam on Lake Livingston. You can easily Google Lake Livingston Dam and breach, and you can read all about it. But I'm telling you right now that they are not going to tell you a whole lot. And it seems like they only release information after someone discovers it on their own, which is why I think they put that no-fly zone in for drones, because they can block the roads and keep people away. But there were drones flying over. Mine was one of them. And we do have drone footage that was recorded before the FAA lockdown. But the problem now is they put a cease and desist order out. So now they can fine you. You have to pay a steep fine if they see that you're recording stuff you shouldn't be. I don't know how that works. So it makes us scary. Anywho, friends, I'm going to let you go now. I want to say thank you so much for watching. We're blessed to have you, and blessed to have you guys saying and keeping us in your thoughts and prayers. Like I said, my plans for today are going to be clean up here behind me. We have lots of small limbs that are down here. I'm not going to go into pastures and clean the big stuff. I'll deal with that later. Oh, I need to tell you about this. How blessed are we that even with the 7 inches of rain that we got yesterday, our pond filled to capacity, and that water came down that new spillway system that Mr. Jeremy built for us, and without a hitch. We see zero new erosion on that side of the pasture. Thank you, God. We finally have a solution to our pond and all of our erosion issues. And the idea of Mr. Jeremy, along with the consultant team that we paid, gave us the advice that I wish we would have had 2 years ago. And anyway, all the sod stayed in place. Everything looks wonderful in that larger pasture. So we're so blessed for that. I will go ahead and answer a couple of questions. I've passed my hour, so we have to be kind of quick if y'all don't mind, but I'll look and see if I can answer any questions that you may have for our property here, or the JL, or even the Plum Grove property. But I do think that every creator should have the ability to record their own content. I've always told you guys that. One of my biggest pet peeves is when a creator goes out of their lane and records something that's not their content, especially when you have families who are trying to make their ends meet off of content. And then you have someone that takes all the content from everybody else because they want to be the first one to post it. So I will answer questions that I can answer that are relating to me, but I would rather you go to the source if you have a specific question. So flooding in Plum Grove, there is going to be flooding. Everyone knows that when you get this much rain upriver, it's going to finally work its way down the river. And so we will get some flooding, but as of now, it's not going to reach the same height as what it did here in our May flood. So we do not think that we're going to have any flooding over the hill. It'll move the animals up. We'll have to move the animals up, absolutely, but we will not have to move any animals off the hill. Yes, that's flooding from the river. As far as any animals being moved from the JL over to Longhorn Lester's, Dinky Daryl will be making a trip over, but we only contacted the folks yesterday, and that was just through the 911 operator. Well, it was the 911 non-emergency operator who we made a report to, and that only happened yesterday. And so we're going to have to wait a couple of days until anyone comes forward and finds if that's actually their donkey. We're not going to move a donkey or any animal if it could in fact belong to someone in the neighborhood. So the same thing that we did with the 3 other donkeys, we will absolutely move them when we have permission to do so. And as of right now, it's too soon to move Dinky Daryl. Jamie will not be doing a Timeout Tuesday tonight. There will be no Timeout Tuesday tonight, but I promise I'll do it. She has not asked me to, so I cannot call it Timeout Tuesday, but I'll go live just for the heck of it because I love going live. I'll actually open these gifts and goodies tonight. I have some stuff that I received. I almost did it right now, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Look at this. Isn't that cute? Longhorn Lester's J&L Ranch, from suits to boots. I love for the love of the animals. May God bless you both always. I can't wait to open that. I do have a few things over here, but I will wait and open those this afternoon on a Jamie's Timeout Tuesday. I'll even have a drink with you all. No, Texas needs a concert to raise funds for you all. We're not asking for your money. Do not send us any money. If you already subscribe to any of the Facebook channels or the YouTube channels, as far as the supporters goes, the $2 and whatever that is, I promise you, we will make that work, y'all. We will make that work. That's the best thing you can do. I don't speak for every content creator on Morrow Hill, but I know that most of us frowned upon receiving your money. We want you to have your money. We want you to take care of yourself and your family. And we will not use a disaster, even one like this over here, to try to raise money, because we're going to be fine. We appreciate you guys and what you do. And like I said, if you want to do the minimum at that $2.13, we have ours set up on Facebook. I know that there's also some that do it through YouTube. We call that the supporters, the financial supporters. We make that work, y'all. And we've done a lot of really neat things with that. But please, if you have some money, you take care of yourself and your family and your community. And if you want to pay it forward, then guess what? Next time you go to Starbucks or McDonald's, you pay for that guy or that girl behind you, and watch the blessing. Just watch the blessing that you receive. And even though you may not see it happen, you will feel such joy in your heart to know it's $2.49, says Kathy. Thank you, Miss Kathy. $2.49 a month is what we do it with on Facebook. And you may say, $2.49 is not much money, Lester. No, it's not. But when you have 1,000 people who send you $2.49 a month, guess what? That money begins to add up. And once you get that money accumulated, you can do great things with that money. And so we were blessed to get Bud and Steph a tractor using the supporter money last time. So we do find things that we can do to help and benefit all of Morrow Hill. And so if you want to help in some form or fashion, and you know that your favorite channel has that set up, then by all means, that's the best thing to do. But don't be sending us checks and don't be sending us cash, please. All right. So Karen says, don't forget to have your cocktail fixins, your spoon, because we don't want to see you stir with your finger, I guess, and turn off the ice machine. Okay, Karen, I promise I will do that. Hold on. I'm going to read this long comment. I'm reading it only because I could not catch it. I had to catch it really fast. Lester is that generation. My mom was the same way. Pawpaw is stubborn, like his kids, with the winky face. I can say that dam will not hold. I speak the truth. They cannot repair quickly what a long abandoned repair has now constructionally gained. I love you all so much and speak this to warn you that the day will come when this will affect Longhorn Lester's, as that river will tear the edges of some area, and that stuff's going to travel in the river, will be what damages do. I wish I could tell you this when, but all right. Well, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hide that. That's quite scary, but we're going to hope that they can find a way to fix it before that happens. But if not, then that will be your I told you so. So guys, I don't know exactly. I don't really see any more questions coming through. So I think that may be good enough. Donna says, if I win the lottery, I'm going to send it to you. No, ma'am, you're not. Donna, if you win the lottery, you're going to take yourself on a vacation. I would suggest Brazil, but that's just me. Don't ask me why. But Brazil, that's where I'd be going. Okay. I would be going to Brazil. Now, since you're a woman, you might not want to go to Brazil. I would say probably don't go to Brazil if you're a woman, but instead you should probably try Italy, or maybe if you want beauty, maybe Switzerland. I will be going to Brazil. Don't even ask me why. So, okay, Ireland. Oh, everyone's saying go to Ireland. Ireland. Okay, y'all want to see a bunch of men with kilts running around. I get you. Okay, I get you. Oh, wait, hold on. So there's someone who lived in Brazil in the 80s. Oh, my God, what a golden year. What a golden time to live in Brazil. Sandra goes, Lester, you're not going anywhere and you know it. Fine, you got me on that one. It's true. It's true. There are places that I would love to see, kind of the same way that Buddy just now said. Seeing that picturesque moment, sitting there in Montana with that waterfall right there in front of him, sitting back, having his coffee, being able to see that, not in a video, not in a photograph, but in real life, being able to hear the sounds and smell the fresh air. My God, that sounds fun. But I would also be terrified of what I was missing out on back here at home. So, yes, I'm maybe similar to my dad in my hard-headedness and not taking time. Well, Jennifer tries to be a Debbie Downer. Oh, I lived in Brazil, and it's not safe for tourists, especially Americans. Now, I'm not going to be going to the barrios of Brazil. I'm going to the beaches, and that's where I'm going to stay. I will find me a bar along some beach, and I will camp out right there, and I will spend my entire 2 days vacation right there at that beach. Well, here's everyone now saying how beautiful Brazil beaches are. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Who wants to join me on a Brazilian beach? That's where we're going to go. If you win that lottery, you can just send us all tickets to Brazil, and we'll be happy. I only need 2 days. I need 2 days, and I'll be good. I'm playing, y'all. You know, Jamie, let me go to Brazil. You already know that. You know I ain't going to be able to go to Brazil. That'll be the last place you'll ever let me go. I bet you Scotland is a beautiful country. Yes, for 2 whole days, Nancy. 2 days is all I got in me. I got to get back to my littles and my middles and the bigs. All right, friends, I will let you go now. Thank you all so much for watching. We love you, and we're blessed to have you. And we will continue to bring you more videos throughout the day. As a matter of fact, I've made my YouTube videos going to be playing earlier today because I know how much people need to know and you want that information. So YouTube videos will be out early. I'm also playing 2 videos on Facebook. I'm a survivor. So if you want the information from my perspective and my point of view and my angle on things, and that's where you'll be able to find those. Longhorn Lester's and I'm a Survivor Sanctuary YouTube. And of course, I'll be playing I'm a Survivor Sanctuary on Facebook. We love you, and we're blessed to have you. We don't deserve you. We do not deserve you and your goodness, but thank you all so very much. All right, with that being said, I will see you guys throughout the day on videos, and I'll catch you tonight around 7-ish on a Timeout Tuesday. But we're going to have to give it a different name. We don't want to take away Jamie's. We don't want to take away everything about Jamie's event. So we'll have our cocktails ready. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We love you guys, and we'll catch you a little bit later. I'm going to end this video the same place we started. Is that okay with you all? Who wants to go outside?